And this is and we fled to Switzerland. We were refugees in Switzerland.
It's you?
Yes, with my father and with me. This is false paper, forged document.
What means for?
That means forged, not real document.
Ah, you made it.
From that got my father, saying that his name is Teodorescu, that is not Jewish.
To escape from Germany?
From the German, yes.
So you made it. And your name?
No, we didn't make it. The French resistance made it.
And maybe your name is?
No, it's not our name because it's a false name. Teodorescu.
Yeah.
This
but
is
your father and
this
you
is
and your mother together, you escaped from German?
To Switzerland.
From German to? From
France from occupied France to Switzerland.
I see.
And this says that my father is not Jewish. Which is a very bad thing when you have a document saying that you are not a Jew.
I see. You came to Israel 30 years ago when you were 18, yes?
Yes.
And at the time you had already had some idea about Israel?
Yes.
It's Zionism.
Yes.
But you said it's Matzpen.
No, I came to Israel when I was 18 years, and after I came back to France. And I came definitely to Israel in 68, so it is 68, 93, 25 years ago.
After 6 Day War.
Yes, I came because I was in a youth movement. I was 10 years in a Zionist youth movement. And I wanted to live in a kibbutz. I was very attracted by the kibbutz. And to work the fields and these kind of things. I wanted to feel very strong to belong to a nation, and I didn't feel really French because my parents were not French and some things that happened in France, and I wanted very much to belong to a nation.
What's happening in France?
What's happened in France? What happened in France that during the Second World War, people like my parents were given to the German by the French authorities.
Not about yourself, your father?
My father and mother, and I too, I was born. That means that means the French authority, who are collaborating with the German, gave the Jews who were in France. Literally gave them. My father was arrested by the French authorities, and he was very close to be given to the German. But you have other things. You have resistance. You have different kind of people. I didn't grow up with the feeling that France is completely my country, even that I like very much France. So I came here because I thought it's my...
It was 22?
It was the first time I came, it was a long time ago, it was in 62.
That time you were 18 years old.
I was 18 years old.
And the second?
And second time it was in 68, when I came definitively.
You were 20?
I was 68, I was 25 or 25. 25.
But you joined to Matzpen.
I joined, yes. I didn't join immediately, but a few months later I joined because I was very, very shocked by the occupation. I was very opposed to the occupation. I wanted to live in Israel, but I didn't want. I was really opposed to the occupation, the occupied territories. Until now, I was there also. And the only people who really were against the occupation were anti-Zionist groups. So this brought me to an anti-Zionist group, which is something paradoxical, because I came to an anti-Zionist groups at the moment that I immigrated to Israel. It's a contradiction. How can you be anti-Zionist when you come to Israel? It's a little bit strange, because to immigrate to Israel is the most Zionist thing that you can do.
But you have to enter the military service also.
Yes, I made it, but not long time. But I was, yes, I was before I was in the army. Yes.
This service was in occupied territory or?
No, it was before war, before 67.
Before the war.
Yes. No, I never served as a soldier in the occupied. I refused to.
You refused?
Yeah, I refused. I made one exercise in the desert, but I always refused to serve to Palestinian population. I refused all the time. Yes. I always refused. And after I was also in prison, but I refused. And what brought me to Matzpen was not the ideology, the anti-Zionist ideology of Matzpen, because I was not so anti-Zionist, but it was the fact that Matzpen was the most group fighting against occupation. And for is also equal rights between Jews and Arabs in Israel itself, which is also certainly an important thing. It's a very important issue. That means, and Matzpen was saying that the occupation has to do with Zionism, and it's not an accident, it's something logical with Zionism, which is in a way true. Not completely true, but in a way true. So this brought me to Matzpen.
And in Matzpen movement, what you did? You painted?
We paint slogans on the walls. We
down with
down the occupation. We went sometime for a few days in prison also. I remember. Yes, I was once. Once I was 5 days in prison. Once I was 2 days in prison. After I was 2 months in prison also. It was we were isolated. We would have been isolated, alone.
Isolated.
It was a little, very little group.
Small groups because of
and hatred.
Yes, hatred, surrounded hatred.
Surrounded by hatred. It was not. We were not surrounded by oppression, police oppression. We were surrounded by hatred of the people, which is worst.
Yes, I remember.
But I went to Matzpen because it was a very strong expression, first against occupation, and second for a democratic Israeli society. And it was a very Israeli movement in Matzpen. I thought to a state or the people would be equals. It would be a separation between religion and state, and we would have 2 nationalities. But this I thought. Exactly the same right between Jews and Arabs, and 2 people state. It's a nice idea.
Until when you dreamed like this? And when you left from this area?
I didn't, because I would say till 72, 73. Till 72. 72 more or less.
Until 72, yes. You think it
was possible.
It was possible, yes.
But after I thought it's not possible.
Why? What was the change?
Because first of all, I had a very abstract view of the Arabs. And after I began to be more in contact with Arabs and to understand that the Arabs were not fighting for a common state, they were fighting for an Arab state. This was very, this was for me very evident. So and after 73, also it was very clear that the Palestinians are going to accept a separation of Palestine. That means PLO started to change its position.
Separate.
To state solution.
West Bank state and...
Yes, more or less so.
Palestinian state beside Israel.
Beside Israel. It was the beginning in 74. It was the change. But there were, of course, people who dreamed to a really common state, but there were a very little minority inside the Israeli, and I think also inside the Palestinian. I met Palestinians who really wanted a new kind of state, but there were a little minority.
I think some people from the Palestinian side, also Jewish side, together they made one project to make plan for socialist Palestine.
Yes. it's a nice project, but you had no followers for it.
Yeah, and also I heard that people who made such a plan, Palestinian side, they were killed. Yes.
Yes, many were killed by.
Many killed. Yes.
But not by Israeli, I think.
You think by Abu Nidal?
Abu Nidal, and by. But the main thing was to understand that the Palestinians want a Palestinian state, not a common state. It's normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I don't critique them. I think it's very normal. But it was not. I can agree with the Palestinian state, as I agree, but it's not my struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I am not Palestinian. Mm-hmm. I can prove it. I think it's a just demand in a way. But it's not. I can prove it. But it's not my struggle. I'm not Palestinian. But the Palestinian, when they have a map, you know, the beautiful golden map that I have is called Palestine.
All Palestine, include Israel.
Include Israel.
Yeah.
Include Israel.
When you look at how you feel?
When I look at the Palestinian map,
yeah.
Today I understand them very good, but I think it's a normal dream. But I would not accept this dream. I don't want to be in a Palestinian. I don't want back the history of Palestine back. I don't want it. If I remain here, I don't want it. Mm-hmm. I don't want it. It's not. This map is not a map of a common Jewish Arab Palestine. It's a map of an Arab. But it's a dream. It's a legitimate dream. We have a right to dream. Why not? I'm not shocked that they dream. I feel it's very understandable that they dream, but it's not my dream.
So they have their struggles to get Palestinian state beside of Israel.
Yes.
And but you have also struggled against occupation. Yes.
No,
not
only occupation. I think there are two elements from Matzpen which I agree till today completely. Against occupation, and to change the Israeli state into a democratic state, where the Arab minority will have the same rights than the Jewish majority. So I don't think that there is only a struggle on the occupied territories, but I think there is really a struggle about the nature of Israel. But I want an Israeli state. That's very clear, because I want an Israeli democratic state. I don't want a Palestinian democratic state. I want an Israeli Palestinian democratic state. I hope that the Palestinians will have a Palestinian democratic state. Mm-hmm. These are two things which are essential, but they are related, because you cannot have a democratic Israeli state all the time that Israel leaves the territory. But also, it's not enough to leave the territory. The leaving the territory just must be a beginning.
But after 82, the Lebanese invasion,
yes,
things are not going so good.
No, it was very hard. It depends what. You can see that things were going yes and no, because 82 shows the limit of the Israeli power. In 80, the Lebanese invasion was the first time it didn't work. Many people were killed, but it didn't work.
Didn't work.
For Israel, it didn't work. For the PLO also, it didn't work. But for Israel, it didn't work. It showed that Israel cannot do what they want. Mm-hmm. And many Israelis began to understand it. It took 10 years, but they began to understand it. So these were very hard years. The Likud on power, the settlement. For people from the left, it was a despairing situation. You had the feeling that Israel is going to the worst. But it's not so simple. We had the 6-day war. It's very complex, the responsibility in the 6-day war. In a way, I don't want to enter in it, but what is sure that Israelis feel completely threatened before the 6-day war. I think what happened after the 6-day war, the 6-day war turned the head of the Israeli. They were like drunken, not only by the victory, but by the fear. The population was terribly afraid before the 6 Day War by the Arab threats. And suddenly they passed from a situation of terrible fear. They got drunk, you understand what I mean? They lost the sense of realities. That's how I explain it. They thought, you are very afraid and suddenly you are very powerful. So you lose the sense of reality. And it took 27 years till people get back to the sense of reality. And in a way now, you have really the feeling in Israel that slowly the people are coming back a little bit to what was before 27 years. And this is for me, it's very encouraging. I'm very happy to be now. Even that it's not finished, we will have a lot of problems, especially on Jerusalem, because the Arabs will not, and are right, will never accept the annexion of Jerusalem. So we'll have a tremendous problem on Jerusalem. And the feeling that something now is moving in the opposite direction. The fact there is a really deep change in the spirit of the people. Not enough, but there is a change. It's not tactical only. There is no peace now. There is still occupation, there is settlement, there are prisoners, there is Palestinians attacks, there is killings and so on. But also but you have the beginning of processes.
Where you saw the TV here?
Yes.
That time, I think so.
Yes. But the people were not enthusiastic in the streets. They were shocked. But they were not angry. They were surprised. They were not angry. No, you didn't see people on the streets say, they were. In a way, they accepted it.